Hello guys, and welcome back to another unboxing video that I have for you guys today. Now, I recently picked up this 13-inch MacBook Pro from a good friend of mine. He was basically selling it. He didn't really need it anymore, and I got a pretty good deal on it because of that. So this is the mid-2009 model, and as you can see up here on the front, it says, of course, MacBook Pro 13-inch LED backlit widescreen notebook. And we're just gonna take a tour of the box first before that we actually get into it. So on the front here, of course, it says MacBook Pro, pretty simple. On the side we've got what the MacBook Pro will actually come with, which includes iLife, which will include iPhoto, iMovie, GarageBand, and iWeb. We also have advanced NVIDIA integrated graphics, and we have a precision aluminum unibody enclosure, which is still used today on modern MacBook Pros. And on the back here we have a pretty nice picture of it open. Let me get in the shot here so you can see it. We have a picture of it running Mac OS 10. I believe this is a picture of OS 10.5 Leopard, which is running here, which I have been able to actually upgrade this to the newest version of OS 10, which is 10.9 Mavericks, and it also has been guaranteed to get updates for the next version of OS 10.10 Yosemite. So that's pretty nice as well. And on the side here we have another Apple logo, which pretty simple. On the front here, or rather on the top, we have all of the basic specifications. Now going through here, we have a 2.26 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo processor with 3 megabytes of shared level 2 cache, and we have 2 gigs of 1066 megahertz DDR3 SD RAM with a 160 gigabyte hard drive and a 13.3 inch LED backlit display. Now, of course, you can read through all of these specs if you want. But one thing that has been upgraded is the RAM. It has actually been upgraded from 2 gigabytes to, I believe, 5 gigabytes, which I know is kind of a weird number, but basically the previous owner bought one 4 gig slot, and he put it in there and just left the other 1 gig slot. So I'm going to probably upgrade that soon. So let's just actually get into the box here, which is of course what you guys came for. Here to see, let's make sure it's in the shot okay. And we're going to open it up here, and here it is, the 13.3 inch LED backlit MacBook Pro from mid-2009. Now, it's a little bit hard to get out of the box here because the actual pull tab is missing, so I'm just going to try to pull it out here as best I can. Alright, so here it is out of the box. I'm just going to push the box aside here. We'll set this down. So in the box here, we also get the MagSafe charger. This is just one part of it. I couldn't fit the other part in the box, so I have it, right here. It's a pretty simple, cable that plugs into here, like so. This is very similar to the, iBook one that I featured in my other video. Just plugs in here, like this. If I can get it in here, just plugs in there, and this is the MagSafe, port where it'll basically magnetically lock into the MacBook, and it can charge, obviously, over, like US power, which is pretty simple. And we also have all of the original Apple CDs in here, so we can pull this out. We have everything else and everything Mac in here, so let's pull out everything else first. We'll set this aside, and I'll open this off camera. Not really sure if you guys can see it. Here we go. We have the 13-inch MacBook Pro OS 10 install DVD. Now, this is for Mac OS version 10.6, so it is, or it would actually ship with OS 10 Snow Leopard. And we also have the applications install DVD as well, which would install things like iLife and things like that. We also have another sleeve, so I guess one of the CDs is missing. We have 2 Apple stickers, which I guess the previous owner didn't use. We have the software licensing agreement, and that's basically it for this little booklet here. If we can set this aside here, and we'll open up this other booklet. This is the Everything Mac Instruction Manual, which is basically, shows you how to use, the MacBook Pro, how to charge it, how to, I think this is actually changing the battery here. I believe that's what it's doing, or changing the hard drive or something like that, which I'm actually considering upgrading this to a solid state drive, since it only has a basic hard drive. But it does actually show you how to do that in here, and how to install the RAM as well. But it's a pretty long like instruction manual. It's got including the index. Let's see here. It's got actually only 85 pages. It just seems long because it's like a very small, thick manual. But yeah, that's basically it for the box here. There's nothing else in here. So we'll just set this aside. Put all this stuff back in here. We'll set that up here, and we'll push the box off to the side and actually get into the computer. Alright, so here is the 13.3-inch MacBook Pro taken out of the box. And yeah, it's a pretty nice computer. I've been using it for a few months now, actually. And the only major problem I can find with it is on this side over here, where all the ports are. There's a slight ding, so you can see that like right here. That's about it. I think there's like one above the Ethernet jack, but that's about it. Everything else works fine on this computer. And let's just go through the ports here. So right here we have the MagSafe charging port on the far left there. Next to that we have an Ethernet port. Next to that, I believe that is a FireWire port. Next to that is the Apple Mini Display port, and then we have two USB ports and an SD card slot, and I believe next to that is a headphone jack. And we also have this nice little, let me just move it over here so you can see this, a nice little battery indicator. If you press this button here, you can see how much charge that the battery has before even turning on the actual computer, which is pretty nice. And it looks pretty low. I'm probably gonna have to charge it soon. And I might also want to mention that is one other problem with this, is the battery is a little bit it doesn't hold like that much of a charge. It holds like, I think about 2 hours is like the maximum, pretty much to expect on older computers like this. But that's very simple to change out and that sort of thing. So let's go turn it around here, and this is like a very simple hinge system here, which you can just open this up, and you can see the inside of the computer. But we'll get to that later. It's a pretty simple like magnetic type locking hinge. And over here we have, I believe that is the power light indicator. And over on this side we have, I believe that right there is a Kensington lock, and your CD DVD super drive, which will read and write CDs and DVDs. I think it writes pretty much every type except for Blu-ray. I'm not sure about Blu-ray, but that's okay. And on the back here is part of the hinge once again. But yeah, that's about it. Let's just actually open up the computer here. Alright, so here is the MacBook Pro all opened up. I'm just showing you the trackpad and the backlit keyboard right now, just before that we actually turn it on. And this is of course very similar to the Apple Magic trackpad, as it is it has like a lot of multi-touch gestures, which is very nice on a MacBook, and as well as it also has your pretty standard Apple keyboard, your Apple backlit keyboard that comes on all MacBook Pros of today. I think they have slightly changed it in the more modern MacBook Pros, but yeah, that's basically it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn on this machine, and we can take a look at just a little bit of OS X. Alright, so we're just going to press the power button right here, and the machine is going to turn on here, and we get that nice little Apple sound that all Macs have today. And here it is booting up into Mac OS 10.9, which is Mavericks, and it does take a little bit of time to start up here, so I'm just going to probably cut that part of the video out. Alright, so here it is all booted up into Mac OS 10.9 Mavericks. Pretty simple. Let's just show you about this Mac here. It's still initializing. It actually only has 18% on the battery, so I might have to cut this video a little bit short. But here is about this Mac when it comes up here. Let me just zoom in on this right here. So we have We have Mac OS 10, or just OS 10, version 10.9.4 with a 2.26 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo with 5 gigs of 1067 MHz DDR3 RAM. And if we click on more info here, so you can see under storage here, we have, it says here a 159.18 gigabyte hard drive, as well as a super drive, which will write all of those, disk formats. It can read and write all those disk formats. And under memory here, you can see, just like I was talking about before, the previous owner upgraded one of the slots to a 4 gig card and kept 1 gig in the other, meaning it has 5 gigabytes of RAM installed. So I'm probably going to upgrade that, as well as changing the hard drive to an SSD, but of course that all takes time. So that we might see that a little bit later, but we'll just quit that program right there. And I think that's pretty much it for the mid-2009 Apple MacBook Pro. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more videos like this, definitely be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.